Hey everybody, today in this video I'm going to be showing you a pretty cool way of making psychedelic effects using some key plugins that you're probably going to hear quite a lot about in the future as you explore music production further. And we are going to be using a plugin called Tantra to start with. But before we open it up, I'm just going to show you what we've got.
You'd do it again if you thought you could get away with it, wouldn't you?
Okay, so this is a vocal sample. It's released in a dubstep sample pack, so it's not even anything to do with Psytrance, but we're going to make it psychedelic. So we can go and we can grab Tantra. And by the way, Tantra is available for demo, so you can go and get it and use the demo version of it. I've got the demo as well. It does play white noise every now and then, but otherwise you get to play with it and use all the features. So it's a multi-effects unit, and it sequences those effects as well. So you can see and hear filter, distortion, delay, lo-fi, flanger, glitch, EQ, reverb, etc, etc. And this is not a tutorial on how Tantra works or how to use it, but it's just going to showcase its ability, and later on down the track I can do a tutorial on actually the ins and outs of Tantra as a whole. So I'm going to flick through a couple presets. I know that I quite like this metallic one, so I'm going to turn the delay off and the reverb off, and I'm going to play to you how it sounds.
Again, you get away. Again, you get away.
So that sounds pretty cool. And what I'm going to instill in your mind is that we can keep taking this further and further and further and keep layering effects on it. And I'm not much of a hole diver. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't jump into massive holes in terms of sound design. I have some friends that do, and they don't come out with any results. And basically, I want to get content, but I do believe that making big signal chains sometimes is really cool. So we're going to do it in this video. So I've got that. And then what I could do is I could put like a reverse on it. Or I could modulate the pitch. Or I could scratch it. Or I could stutter it. Okay, I quite like this one. So let's duplicate that, and let's freeze it, and let's flatten it. And now we've got this. That's a pretty interesting kind of little loop that you got going there. But if we warp it and we have it on beats, and then we set it to 16th notes, and we put it on one shot, and then we pull it down, we can kind of tighten it up a little bit with a bit of a volume envelope. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a Sound Toys filter over it. So they got a filter called Filterfreak. Either one or two. We'll use two. And basically this is like automated filters. So I'm going to put it on. I'm just going to push the output so we get a bit more volume. That's really cool. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how you make anything that's already psychedelic even more psychedelic. And it's another Echo Boy plugin. I mean, another Sound Toys plugin. And it's called Echo Boy. And it's one of my favorite delay plugins for sure. So I come over here and I put it on ping pong. And I make it dotted. And I make it 100% wet because it's on a return. And I'll put the feedback up a bit. And then we'll send this into it. And if we flick through the presets on the Filterfreak, you get lots and lots of different cool filtering effects on that sound. And we could take it further again, and we can reprocess using the same plugins that we just used. So I could pull the ShaperBox back on. I could maybe this time, we'll keep it with the timing one, but maybe we could reverse at the end of every bar. We've added more variation there. What could we do other than that? We could even chuck Tantra back on it. Take off the reverb and the delay because we don't want to double up on that. And a lot of these sounds are very usable in your track. And if you imagine having a kick and bass playing underneath that, already you've got instant psychedelica. So I would grab a reverb as well. I'd chuck the reverb on a send. I'd set it to around about there, and I'd probably just leave everything else just to give it a bit of a splash of reverb. Now it's in a space. And at any point we can come back in here. Different sound again. Come back in here. And all the while, what we could be doing is we could have a channel set up that was accepting audio and recording everything out. And we've got it recording post-mixer. So this is before any of the return and send effects are applied to it. So we've got a dry signal here. And that makes it very convenient in the future if we then want to run it through our delay and return effects. I like to work with dry effects. And then, do stuff to them later on down the track with a conscious mind. I don't like to use effects I don't like to use sounds that have already got effects on them. It doesn't give you full creative control over what you can do with it. So we could record out a huge amount of audio like this. And then we could actually even go into the detailing of micro-editing out what we actually want from the whole thing. Because maybe we don't want it all. But we want to use, because we've got a lot of material here now. See, for example, there's a little zap. And that's a little loop for you right there. So, you can go ahead and find little phrases and loops that you actually really like the sound of. And if I just loop that, if I was making techno, that could be, and if the sound was maybe more industrial or whatever, that could be a very hypnotic repeating texture. If we wanted, we could put that at the start. And just to give you a bit of context, if I just put a 4/4 kick drum underneath that, just to get a quick kick, I'll just put basses on it. Maybe it doesn't sound that good. Sounds a little bit out of time. But you get the idea. If you play around and you experiment, you're going to find little phrases and loops that work really well for you. And you can make very trippy textures and soundscapes for the back of your tracks. That's a great little one shot. Could cut that out. And yep, that would work for sure. You got all sorts of stuff in here that you could cut out and use. So, experiment. Use some of those effects that I've told you about. You could even try gating stuff. So if you grab a gate, you chuck it on there, go volume, and maybe something as simple as just a straight up 16th bar gate. Put the delay on it. Put some reverb. Put some more filtering on it. Turn the resonance up. Now we got some sort of moisture-like sounds. Sounds a bit wet. So you got to experiment, play around with stuff. I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in another video.